thank you for coming. Thank you, Dr. Rocco, Matteo Spinelli, Marco Lora. And the idea was to well, know each other, get to know each other, and for me to talk about two books I've written. One came out last year in Italy, and it's called Technoshamans, and it's about to be published here in the States as well. We were thinking that it might be ready by now, but it's not ready yet. But it will be ready in the next few months, so we'll keep you updated if you're interested in it. And then a novel which I wrote, which came out in Italy last February, which is called Criminàl, and that's not translated in English yet. So, but I thought that you and Marco and with Roberto and Graziella, we thought you might be interested in hearing about it. And so I will try to tell you about these books as briefly as possible, although it's a few years to write them, so I don't know how concise I'll be able to be, but I'll try. And then we can move on to open up the conversation, and if you have any questions, we'll just talk about whatever you are interested in talking about related to the book or to my career. So, the first book that came out still leaves a little bit of traces of the journalistic experience I've had. As you've heard, I started quite young. I was here in the States for 11 years. In 82 to 93, I've seen the South and I've seen the East Coast. I visited the West Coast, but I had a good picture of this country, which helped my upbringing. I went back to Italy when I was 27 to continue working for La Repubblica, which is one of the two leading national newspapers in Italy. And I continued to work there, and I had some TV experience. I hosted a live TV show, political talk show on the national TV every morning. And I participated in investigative journalism. The resume, the curriculum vitae is too long. So my beard and my hair. And I decided to put everything on hold somehow and to write finally. But before I could do that, I had to take care of a more pressing problem, which was something literally pressing on my back, which was a chronic backache that I dragged along with me since I was in my 20s, and which kind of distracted me from being able to write and concentrate. And this very cool teacher, I kind of nicknamed the Clint Eastwood of Ashtanga yoga, because he got a really cool demeanor, and that didn't work though either, so after a while, still kind of with my crooked back, I arrived in Venice, not Venice, Italy, but Venice Beach, and all the diagnosis was that the problem with my back is tied to a karmic knot, a social crime, a prior incarnation of mine that committed in 1650. That kind of took the load off my back. This instead is a novel which takes place in Valdagno. Even though I wasn't born here, it is my hometown, and Marco's hometown, and some other people's hometown here.
Anch'io
There you go.
sono cresciuta a Valdagno.
There you go, see? and for some strange reason, it produced a lot of very tough people who went all over the world. And I think it's because of the rain. It's explained in
Frequare, schio e non innaldi.
Which doesn't rhyme in English, so one translates the blasphemous proverb. But it's something about that valley being the place where God where it rains a lot. It's not a simple story either. It's a triple spiral, all ending up in one point, which is one time, which is 11:44 p.m. and a date, which is the March 20th.
In your career as a journalist,
Yes.
Did you write about similar subjects, or
No.
what kind of what was what were your articles about?
I started at 21 in New York with La Repubblica, and I was writing about the United States in general, meaning I wrote about what in Italy we call it Americana, right? Or use the same term.
Repressive meaning.
Yeah, exactly. There is an article translated in English I could read to you, but I don't know.
Yes.
So, this is a more intimate chapter, and it's at the beginning of the Indian part, after I've taken a flight from London to Bangalore, and it just kind of explains the culture shock of finally arriving in a country that I wanted to visit for a very long time. It's been very meaningful for me, and And so here it comes. It's chapter 20, and it's called My Miserable Life in Mysore. The conscientious inventory. Okay, and now the inventory. Fan on the ceiling? Check. The Ganesh decal on the kitchen wall? Check. Neighbors with loud music? Check. 3 shelves where I can roll out the contents of my backpack, meaning 3 pairs of trousers, 4 pairs of underwear, 3 shirts, 6 t-shirts, 4 books, vitamins, anti-mosquito spray, 1 bag of medicines? Check. There's also, unfortunately, that neon light to blame for the sudden and deep languor that crushes me, and out of the blue, stabbed in my Swiss Venetian self-control, mein Gott im Himmel, I violently crash land, and suddenly I miss everyone. Terribly. My son, my mother, my brother and his family, my sisters, my nephews, my London friends, my friends in Venice, and I miss you, whoever you are, reading these words, and all the people with whom I've dealt with in these last few months. Roberto and Giorgio, Matteo, Bob, all my friends who I've been able to cross paths with in Italy, in the United States and Argentina. I'm almost tempted to start missing my ex-wife, but no. I don't miss her. Too many were the fights and too strong the conflicts. However, I've been painfully missing everyone with an emotion I had not felt in how long? I don't know, but I know that I felt inside of me that I'd never ever see any of you again. But really never. There it is, sudden, unexpected, harsh solitude. I've lived with a lot of solitude in the last 2 years, and maybe my whole life, starting from when I was 16, and I left my family to go live in the United States. I should be used to it. But what I feel now is not just the reassuring and regenerating solitude that I'm familiar with. This is feeling lonely and alien. Yes, me, who thought I'd always been lonely and alien. Everything will change tomorrow, I tell myself. I'm too tired from the trip, I repeat to myself. Tomorrow, I'll meet the other yogis and everything will be fine. I try to prod myself on. But the center of my chest and stomach give in. They really feel like they want to collapse. Must be the neon light, yes. Or it's because of sleep deprivation, right? This is what the annoying, irrational self keeps repeating. Tropical buzz, different time zone, disorientation. Maybe it's just because I've been feeling so good this last week before the departure. And all the positive signs for next year, and etc., and blah, blah, blah. My mind starts chattering like an all too talkative Indian on the London-Bangalore flight. And now, instead, here comes the question, the classic one. Yes, we are exactly at that moment. What am I doing here? I tell myself that in Europe it is dark and cold, and the toughest month of the year is about to come, November. Maybe I should have stayed there, close to my son, writing, working my butt off. Tonight I don't breathe the air of happy vacation I was hoping I'd feel in my lungs. I must find a calm to sleep and tomorrow start with a whole new rhythm. It could very well be that this is the premise of the famous deep change people say India sets in motion, that slow but constant massage of the soul that hurts at first, while those dark knowing hands dig among the ribs of your emotional and mental habits, making you cry like a baby and then making you feel anciently new. As if this land were capable, in and of itself, for some arcane electromagnetic or magic force, to set in motion profound sensations that pressure those who feel them into facing themselves. In fact, on day 3, here comes the blow. Exactly as a neon-colored sadness has landed upon me, here comes, quick as a sneeze, that great feeling of well-being, on the verge of euphoria, that must be the other side of the impact that this land has on Westerners. After breakfast, they visited alone and barefoot the Imperial Mysore Palace, which is a practical joke, historically speaking, because it has been entirely rebuilt by an English architect less than 100 years ago, but who cares? Among its gardens, among the first Vishnu and Rama temples I ever visited in my life, speaking with a guide of the battle of Rama and the demons, among statues of growling tigers who misspell their threats into don't touch me in a certain way, diminishing their menacing impact, among families of elephants being painted carefully by workers in a river of barefoot Indians who serenely flow along the sumptuous corridors of Mysore Palace, there it is that I start feeling a great welcome, more pleasant than an early morning hot chai tea. Even better when I start wandering about town on a quick rickshaw searching for a table lamp so I can get rid of that neon light. rushing through the little shops of the dark corners of town, where you don't really see white tourists with hats and backpacks, but only merchants and local clients who yell at Kumal, the rickshaw driver I hired for 2 hours. Kumal, who doesn't get the difference between light bulb and table lamp, and takes me to a series of television shops, and along the route, among elderly people on broken bicycles, and other rickshaws who rush towards us at full speed, blasting their little horns, and the indifferent women selling their stuff on the floor, but never nervous or jumpy, and the shoe-shine boy who tries to stick his hands in my pockets and gets driven away by my driver with a shock and 2 slaps on the head that are too loud for my sensitivity. Then I realize that the external chaos pacifies my internal one, and in the night, finally, maybe thanks to my new 60-watt bulb screwed into a small black table lamp, turned toward the sand-colored wall, I feel so free, light, and happy that I almost feel the caresses of the warm embrace of Mother India, rocking me in her delirious sweetness, and I fall asleep with a smile. Potremmo leggere un brevissimo di 2 pagine capitolo in italiano da Criminàl. I beg forgiveness to those who don't speak Italian, but I would like to read one brief chapter, 2 pages really, in Italian from my novel. I will tell you what it is about, but I just think that aside from Portuguese, sorry for all the Italians here who might not agree, after Portuguese, Italian is the best sounding language. So if you will bear, I do think that person. So if you bear with me, I can read a brief chapter, which is about Ezio, the brother I told you about earlier, who decides to, in the middle of his madness, lost in the woods, decides to play a chess game with himself, and he discovers the cells, the old cells that are on the other side of the chessboard while he's playing this game. Scacchi is the name, chapter 15 of Criminàl. The title is La partita scacchi. Un corpo senza testa cessa di vivere. Magari sopravvive per un po', razzola in un parcheggio, sbandando gira su se stesso, poi si accascia. Pedoni, torri, cavalli, alfieri e persino la regina sono solo arti di un corpo che può essere mutilato affinché la testa continui a vivere. Immobile, il re pensa. Sta decidendo, si presume, anche se non è certo sempre così, le mosse di tutti per vincere delle partite, sopravvivere, fare strage di nemici, sovrastare altri re. La logica degli scacchi è in contrasto con l'ideale di uguaglianza, fratellanza e libertà. Nulla è meno democratico di questo gioco. Ogni pezzo è sacrificabile in nome del re. Ognuno può e deve morire per salvare il capo, il sommo sacerdote, il basileus, il mullah, il presidente, in una logica di fanatismo bellico che obbliga a morire per salvare il proprio colore. Giocherò una partita a scacchi con me stesso, aveva annotato Ezio. Poi si era messo a cercare i pezzi nella sacra tracolla, in quel sentiero nel bosco, il giorno dopo quella sera al bar Dante, così dice la data, 21 marzo. Sulla scacchiera dove 2 colori si odiano, riscoprì logore tattiche difensive di vecchi sé ormai estinti. Avversario di se stesso, esaminò lo spostamento delle proprie forze nel corso della vita. Si avvicinò al dettaglio così intensamente da perdere lo sguardo sul gioco d'insieme, trascurando d'essere anche lui il pezzo di un'altra scacchiera. Arroccamenti con torri omeriche che subiscono lenti assalti di pedoni astuti, trappole dal fiere obliqui a cavalli zoppicanti. Sulle prime tenne ferme le regine passionali e i re dalla collera immobile, incitando gli alfieri sanguinari, i cavalli nervosi, i pedoni kamikaze che si spinsero al centro della scacchiera. Osservò i giochi di strategia di un vecchio se stesso che ormai non era più e che mai sarebbe tornato a essere. L'altro Ezio aveva appena mosso il cavallo bianco. L'Ezio di adesso riconobbe lo sfidante delle decisioni istintive, irresponsabili. L'Ezio di prima, sempre pronto a rischiare tutto, basandosi sull'impulso di una ruvida intuizione. L'Ezio di adesso osservò gli Ezio di prima, che erano già due, un Ezio recente e un Ezio antico. La coscienza passò da Ezio agli altri sé, a seconda del turno di mossa. Entrò rapida nell'altro, seduto fantasticamente al lato opposto della scacchiera, sul prato di quel bosco silenzioso e freddo. Si ricordò sensazioni e punti di vista di quell'Ezio antico che aveva appena mosso il cavallo bianco. Nessuno sapeva più chi dei tre fosse in vantaggio, se il nuovo sé, l'Ezio avventato o l'Ezio timoroso di chissà quanti anni fa. Bianco che diffonde la luce solare senza assorbire radiazioni, il risultato dell'esperienza. Vede tutto ma resta nuovo, il presente. Bianco neve, latte, carta per scrivere. Nero che assorbe tutti i raggi di luce di ogni colore senza respingerne nessuno, tutti i vecchi caratteri. Nero bruciato dal passato, tempo rappreso, inchiostro. La partita era allo stallo, il nuovo perso nella contemplazione del vecchio, bloccato, immobilizzato. Ezio gettò all'aria i pezzi bianchi e neri. I feel like 8 hours have gone by, I'm not sure.
Blog about your books?
No, I don't have a blog. I have a website. My name, carlopizzati.com, and I'm on Facebook also. And no, because I thought about that, and I think that I'm not sure. I had one when I was working for I was editor-in-chief of a website maybe called Virgilio, the biggest website in Italy. And then I kind of again I wanted to write for something that lasts, and I think the way in which I've written it is something that can be read in 10 years and is still alive somehow. And so I wanted to concentrate in that kind of writing. So I left blog writing alone. I might go back to it, but I don't. I also like to be paid for what I write. So. Thank you very much.